Hello everyone, today we're making a tier list for all of the Shadow War maps, or at least this is my opinion. So, number 5 is going to have to go to Cape May and Swansea, 4 and 5. Now, I have to give the edge in versus to Swansea, just because of the fact that it's heavily defender side, because the defenders can literally just camp the doors, 3 doors, and the attackers are forced to pick one side. Now, on Cape May, it's heavily defense side as well, because they can just snipe you. Except, on that map, there's 2 sides, and there's actually barricades. Now, on the other map, don't get me wrong, there are some barricades, but barely any. So, third is Woodford. Woodford is private, it's a VIP server, private server, exclusive map. This is how you know on a private server. So, Woodford is definitely a solid Woodford. Woodford is not you know of, because it's so secretive. That is absurdly weird, most people don't know it. For some reason, it's not good, I don't know why. But, so I would also, your command, you put Amazon class on everything. Okay. So, those are 2 main commands you can also do. But basically, first let's go to Woodford. Woodford is an extremely fun map on variety game modes. Variety game modes include Golden Guns, which I mean is really good for every map, and then it's Grenade Frenzy, which is absurdly good for Woodford. Woodford has an absurd amount of white walls like Montreal. The map is 2 floors. And also, the map is extremely chaotic, because you can breach from the cellar, you can breach from doors, there's a lot of rooms. It's a very fun map, and I 100% recommend it if you have a private server. It's really worth it buying a private server just for this, and also the commands. But it's probably, anyone can use the command, it's just really weird, because not many people know about it. Person in the server the longest gets commands. And the second most person gets it if they leave. Second has got to go to Calais. Calais is a 3-floor map with a huge skylight. And 3 floors, the only 3-floor map in the game. So, every side, except for the third, is enterable by attackers. There are 3 sides on every door. Yep, 3 doors on each side. Oh wait, there's 1 door on 2 sides. So there's like 6 or 7 doors to enter from. The 3rd floor, though, is the worst part of the map. Because unlike the 2nd first, attackers, the only way they can get in is if they climb up a shelf, put a special C4 placement or shape charge, and blow it up, and then you have to be really lucky. So, like, it's extremely difficult to get to the 3rd floor. You have to enter for the 2nd at least. But, defenders can literally just camp the 3rd floor if the servers are there. If the servers are there on the 2nd floor, the defenders can just camp it the whole time. And literally just, like, also, they can blow up hatches, meaning they can literally drop shoot you and hide underneath a table right before the game starts. Or during the 25-second prep phase. So that is the main reason why I consider Calais not to be the best map. But in my opinion, Woodford is not as good. I put it in free mainly because not many players have it. And also because the map is a bit, like, weird. It's really fun though. It's a really fun map. So that's why I put it in free and not like the last, because there's worse maps. First is obvious. Montreal. I'm going to reiterate a bit about more Calais now. So Calais, you cannot enter the floor. I just said that, but you get the idea. Now, I will say a way I can rework every map, but we'll do that later. So, Calais is a really good map when it comes to everything but the 3rd floor. For the 3rd floor, I'd personally consider it number 1. So, yeah. So, Calais does have a skylight. You can't enter through it, which is kind of sad. I wish you could. That actually would be really funny. So you could, like, go up like you could rappel up and jump into the skylight. That'd be extremely interesting. I think that's the only map in the game to have a skylight. Also, the only map in the game that actually takes place outside is Cape May. Because Cape May, there's only 2, like, buildings. That's it. It's also the only map that doesn't take place in Europe. Because Woodford's Ireland. Montreal, actually, yeah, Montreal's Canada, but basically, it's the only map to not take place in Canada or Europe. Cape May, it takes place in New Jersey, which is where I live, if you didn't know that. But, basically, yeah. So, the rankings are basically second is Calais, usually. So, Calais is in France, and basically, it's a really fun map, but it's really annoying. Number 1 has gotta go to Montreal. Montreal is definitely the best in the game. By far the best in the game. Because Montreal is A, the original map, B, it's 2 floors, C, it's very balanced for both teams. Kind of like Woodford, but Woodford's smarter, so yeah. But basically, Montreal is really fun because there's also some really tiny rooms with some hidden Easter eggs. Like for instance, there's a cash room with the cash for the withdrawal and the deposits, and there also is 6 server positions and no 5, yeah, 5 or 6, 5 I think. Yeah. So the 5 server positions are gonna go to the map. Okay, we're gonna start with Cape May, and we're gonna start with Swansea. So Swansea has 4 server positions, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 4. Almost every map in the game except for that has 5. I think that's maybe why. So B, by default, it's always that little table. Always that one room. That really tiny room. By default, that's the guaranteed one. There is a one that with a little shelf, and it's like right near a huge white wall right near the guaranteed server. It's also right near a tiny little storage room and a huge cargo container shipment area, as well as some target practice and barricades. Either entrance to that room, where B is. Now, the other position for Swansea, there's 2 more positions. The other one's in that little cargo truck area, which, yeah, that's probably the rarest out of all of them. I barely see that one. I've seen it like once or twice whenever I record videos on it, and I play like usually 10 of 20 rounds, which is basically means that like 5% of the time, so like 5% is relatively rare, but not that rare, so it's somewhat rare. Then the final one is that massive white wall room I told you about. There's no door there, you literally just have a connected server rooms, essentially. The server rooms are connected. Now, we're gonna also go over ones for Cape May. Cape May has 6. So one of them is in the second and first floor of the building that pretty much no one goes in. So that side is for the side with the indestructible gate. You can't blow it up. It's impossible to blow up. It's just the other side that most teams will not breach from. Most teams breach from the main side. Most defenders camp the other side. So most attackers run for both sides. There usually is one person right up there instead of like the whole team. I'm also gonna have a little roster I'd recommend for every map. So while I do that, my Calais is really good. It's also good fact that those vans, those blue glass, if you shoot from, you can shoot through the glass on the vans with any gun, which basically gives you free bullet. Not many people know about it. You can get really funny kills. I got 2 kills using that method. It was really funny. The other thing that's nice about the server rooms, they have 1 server room in the building I just said about that's barely camped. So it has one with a huge white wall that you have a little lookout window to the other building where you can, like, if you have access to that, you can shoot people in the head from it. That's really good for cameras because you can have a camera connecting both buildings. But not many people will shoot because it's really hard to see. It's actually really obvious, but like no one ever looks up there. The other thing that's nice about it is the other server room is in the building everyone camps. By building everyone camps, I mean, building everyone camps right near those huge car containers near the edge of the map. They're both then the final server rooms are in these really tiny little like brick huts thingies. I don't really know what's the point in them. They're like 2 little really good little buildings. Like absurdly tiny. You know there's like 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom apartments. They're like half the size of that. Essentially what they are. But basically have no windows. It's just like really weird. I don't really get why those exist, but yeah, there's 3 of them on the map. 2 of them always have servers in them. When that doesn't, like, yeah. On Swansea, so Woodford, I'm not gonna go over because Woodford, I forget. I don't have time to for months. There's 2 in the basement, 2 on the top. There may be more. I forget. Woodford's not even in the game. That's how I so I forget. Most of that map, imagine the real friends with Infinite Frag. That's whole one now. So I'm not gonna go over server and any fair lawsuit and stuff and lit up for that because that map you don't really need to know a lit up because that map is almost never. Now let's go on a private server. Then they'll usually be selected, but usually never. So disregard Woodford. Basically just 4 maps. I decided Woodford because Woodford is like kind of a secret map. I wish Cape May was like because like I'd rather have Woodford than Cape May or Swansea, whatever the map was called. And then finally, for Calais. Calais has servers on 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. There's 6. First one's in white walls, near the full concrete stairs, and ones that don't have like the little spiral-like thing. The other ones have the little spiral-like thing. That's the other server is near that. The other one is near near both stairs. One is near the basement, the first one the basement stairwells. The other one's near the 3rd floor stairwells. And also there's a hatch in there, so you can drop from that server to the basement. Meaning you can basically camp it. If you have like a C4 down there, you can literally just sit down there for any gun you want, and literally just shoot anyone that tries to disable the hack. It's really funny. 3rd floor literally only has 2. They're both really obvious. They're really easy to find, but they're really hard to take. Like once you take 3rd floor, the defenders basically lose because there's so many tiny storage rooms. There's like a really big room, and there's like 2 or 3 tiny storage rooms. I really like Calais. It's really good map. It's in Montreal. I mentioned Montreal already. So there goes servers and stuff. We would now go to best gadgets and weapons. So in terms of gear, you automatically start off with crowbar by default on attack. On defense, you don't get anything. So each team has 2 exclusive things. Yeah, 2. Yeah. So attack has every side has medkit, frags, flashes, and blowtorch. I'm gonna put it in English just so you guys can tell. As you can see, so there are frags, flashes, tripwires. So these two have roving or exclusive. The defenders, and then for the attackers, these 2 are exclusive right here. So we'll be ranking all of them. First of all, we'll be ranking the worst to best. So worst has to go tripwire. Tripwire is horrible. It's literally it doesn't scan the enemy. So it makes a beep, which is like really loud, but like shoot. And plus your teammates can trigger it, meaning you could like run to the thinking your teammates there, cause like there's like a tiny little circle where you know your teammates are, but like it's really hard to see. You will sprint towards your teammates, making us an enemy, shoot them a bit, waste their ammo, and then they're gonna fast. Because the attackers know where they are, so like that's the reason why I don't like the tripwire. Just because it also doesn't help your team. Now C4 is like that, but it's different. So next up is gonna have to go to flashes. Now look, flashes. Actually, I don't know if it's good flashes and blowtorches. They're both bad. I'm gonna give the edge here to blowtorches because flashes are worse. Flashes are just flashbangs. Now, they have a better use than blowtorches, but the thing is, they beat free time. They're really easy to shoot, unlike frags, which is really difficult to shoot. Plus, you can just run away. Plus, it's pretty much no one ever brings them, unlike blowtorches. Some people burn blowtorches. So, frags. Unfortunately, I got the flashes in second worst. 3rd, blowtorch. Now, look, the blowtorch is good, but there's a catch. The enemy team can shoot for doors you blowtorch, meaning that it essentially just removes the fact it's a door. Essentially just an empty wall now, but like it's really annoying because like you could get killed just for like sitting like right behind the door, you could randomly kill, or just like say you're behind the door, you throw through it and kill you. I don't get what it's saying. Oh yeah, and also there's little people now. I mean, you can literally just the CHA from across the map and just receive you or see you. So, third, for a second. So, second, oh wait, receive 4 shape charge. Okay, so remember I just said about shape, so blowtorch is better in my opinion than shape chart, actually. Yeah, so blowtorch fourth, it's gotta go to shape chart. I mean, yeah. Second, okay, I think there's 8 gadgets in the game, right? Let me see, 6. These 4 on both sides, these 2. Okay, there's, 8 gadgets. So, okay, I'm gonna recap. So, 8th worst. The worst in the game, tripwire. 2nd worst, flashes. 3rd worst, the blowtorch. 4th worst has gotta go to shape charges. Now, shape charges are not the worst, but not the best. You know why shape charges are not very good? Because, unlike C4, they don't harm your teammates. But, actually, the reason why most people bring C4, because both sides of the wall are affected. The thing about shape charges is, the side that does not have the charge on it explodes, whereas C4 both sides explode. So shape charge only found in Shadow War is impossible to get in every mode except for Shadow War. I think it's just a replacement for Claymores or Brock's Mines, because like Fox Mines would be a bit unbalanced, because like then rounds would be allowed. So like I think that's the main reason why, because like you can't run out. Fox Mines are essentially useless in Shadow War. I wish they were though. Shape charges are really bad. I would not recommend. Usually wouldn't recommend them. Now, unless you're gonna be right near your shape charge, you're gonna use it as a rushing opportunity. Then it's worth it. But I really would not recommend it. By the way, now if C4s, it's like a shape charge, but you'll die if you're near it. So to have a teammate rush if you're playing a C4, and if they play a C4, just you rush instead. Just that's what you should do with a C4. Have your teammate rush so you don't die, because they won't die either. Next up, I'm gonna have to give it to frag grenades. Frag grenades are third best in the game. Primarily just because of the fact that frags are absurdly good. They can blow up hatches, blow up white walls. They can also be extremely useful because they're almost impossible to shoot. They're also extremely no random is how you wait for them. There's no timer on them, and that's like also how fast it is to throw them, which is good. But like if you're on defense, and you accidentally use that instead of a microframe, you almost die. Doesn't tell you the timer. It's really annoying with frags. That's the worst thing I have against it. But like outside of that, frag grenades are just the best. If we're going for the shortcomings, frag grenades would probably be number 2. C4s, I'm gonna have to give it to number 2. Wait, I just realized I forgot about microcams. Microcams, I'm gonna give. Okay, microcams are gonna be third, with along with the frags. Now, actually, C4 is gonna be third as well. So C4 is like frags, but better. If you want to right or top, I'll mention second. So let's consider there's 9 gadgets. So basically, just imagine doing everyone that, or we can fix this. Number 9, such a to your list. Basically, number 9 is tripwire. Number 8 is flashes. Number 7, number 8 is a blowtorch, and number 7 is flashbangs. Number 6 is, what's number 6 again? Okay, number 6 is a shaped charge. 5, I'm going to have to give it to frags. 4, I'm going to have to give it to C4. Third is going to be, am I getting one? No. Okay, so there's 8. So third C4, 4th, okay. 4th is going to have to go to frags. 5th, shape charge. 6th is flashes. 7th is blowtorch. 8th is let's see, tripwires. That's the order. So second, it's gonna have to go to the solid microcam. Now, microcams are objectively the best thing in the game, because now medkits are literally a must-have. You're basically forced to bring medkits because like you can't regen health without them. Meaning like there's literally no point in not bringing medkits. So that means you simply have 2 year slots when you think about it, because pretty much everyone brings medkits. So that's usually number one, because you're just like the best in the game. It doesn't even matter. Just C4 actually does damage. So second, I'm gonna have to give a second is microcams. The reason why I give microcams second instead of third is because microcams are defense. I think with defense before when you think about it. They get intel. You can easily get a teammate that can shoot the guy. Like for instance, and also you can be really creative with their placement. Unlike C4, to have a huge hitbox, and they're absurdly easy to get. Like mess up placement. Also, the thing about them is the fact that you can literally do whatever you want with them. Also, you make them blend in, put them on gray or black walls. Also, they're absurdly tiny. They also you can scan people without them knowing. But you also can put them anywhere. I mean, you can put them on you can put them on a really important faces like the place where the stairs is and ladder is. By stairs, I mean the back stairs and the ladder, and the front stairs, and some of the top. Like, that camera is so overpowered. That's the reason why microcams are so good, because everyone will shoot the white, but usually people never notice a microcam. Sort of way in the distance, because most people never bother to shoot them. You gotta put them on servers. I'd recommend bringing 2, and I'd recommend putting them both on servers, unless you have someone guarding that server in question. If you have someone guard that server or someone else do the microcam, just place them put one on stairs. And first, medkits. Medkits are literally a need. You basically need them to win any game of Shadow War. So yeah, okay. No explaining which medkits. They literally heal you. Next, we're gonna rank a primary and secondary weapons from best to worst. Worst weapon in the game, gonna have to give it to the Raven. Now look, the Raven, absurdly high damage, yes. Absurdly high recoil, yes. Absurdly bad accuracy, yes. Also, gun is sure has an absurd amount of ammunition. Like, it's actually worth to bring the Raven if you run out of ammo a lot on your primary. But like, the Raven usually isn't worth it. And I would not recommend it almost always. UBG9, it's got to go in a solid second to last. UBG9 is just slightly better because the recoil is relatively low. You can put any sight you want on it. Unlike the Raven, where you're forced to do mini delta. Well, you also have ring sight, which really underrated. Even though ring's pretty bad, you can use it. But recoil is basically nothing. You're going to have flash harder or muzzle brake, and like reinforced have suppressor reason you can't tame the recoil very well. Tactically, you have to have a laser. Rating also can, but like the Raven is not really worth it. Next up, I'm gonna have to give it to actually 20 to save my setup for tomorrow. So next weapon, I'm gonna have to give it to the saw blade. Now look, the saw blade is it a bad weapon? No. But the weapon has absurdly slow mobility. I mean, you can only really use it if you're guarding a server. I wouldn't recommend moving around or camping. You always camp or guard a server with this thing. Something that's only good for holding positions. I usually would never recommend the saw blade. I'd never recommend it on attack, because on attack you need mobility, so you can run away from the defenders who usually will have the heavier weapons to camp stuff. The only heavy weapon in the game is the saw blade. The thumper doesn't count as a weapon really, because it's more or less so a reacher. Like, the thumper is literally just a weapon, but it's essentially just a weaponized C4. The thumper is a worse C4, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Right. So, next up, I'm going to have to give it to, what do I put? Shotgun is pretty good, but like, think about shotgun. Okay, I don't know. CBRC, no. CHA, no. Ohio 7's pretty good. Personally, I don't really know. Most weapons are extremely good. I'm gonna have to give it to shotgun. So the reason why shotgun is so low is because the shotgun, all the attachments except for one are broken currently, which is not the weapon's fault, but like, also, the weapon literally is the most annoying weapon in the game, by far. The range is absurd. The spread is actually really is horrible. The damage is absurd. Like, the gun's really overpowered, but like, the gun is just so annoying because people who use it are usually toxic. Meaning, like, whenever I see a shotgun abuser, I will usually vote kick them just because it's that annoying. Also, they're being annoying about it. That's the main thing I've been shotgun users. So, yeah, that's the reason why shotgun is so low. Apparently, because all the abusers of it. Next weapon, I'm gonna have to give it to. I'm gonna have to say the S97. Now, the S97 is an absurdly good weapon. Absurdly good. Yeah, now the S97 is the only reason why I don't think it is the recoil. The recoil on the S97 is very annoying. Same thing with the CBRC as well. Like if you have like a scope on the CBRC, the recoil is ungodly, even for multi break. Like the S97 is essentially just the lesser recoil automatic CBRC. Well, this gun is absurdly. The fire rate is relatively good. In fact, it's like the fast firing automatic in the game. It's for cheating weapons. For the main reason why. This 97 also has the options. I don't know why I never run short mag. I never run short mag. Never run it at all. It's not worth it in any regard. It has every attachment in the game, with the exception of the 6x scope, by the way. Now, there is weapon class exclusive sight. Like how pistols only have the ring sight, which is in the glow sight, and by that I mean pistols only one pistol is ring and 2 pistols have glow. The K45 is the only pistol in the game. The only weapon in the game other than the thumper that can't modify its iron sights is the K45, which is really weird. I don't understand why. I guess because it's really good. No one ever uses K45 now. It's only useful if you don't have M20. It's only good for picking up ammo from guards and mission. That's pretty much the only purpose for a K45 in my opinion. It's a great gun. If I had to put it, I'd probably put it dead last because like the K45 is literally horrible. I just think I'd ever see anyone use it. So yeah, that's what's up. I call my K45 K45 appreciators. I'm sorry. So that's why I don't like it. Next up, the MM20. Actually, no. CBRC. CBRC is infamous, at least for me at least. The recoil is ungodly. If you have if you have a 3x or higher, 3x, the recoil on the 3x is alright, but like 4x and 6x, most people will run 6x on the CBRC because of how good it is for sniping. The range is literally my goodness, this is better. This is literally slight percentage CHA. This gun has a really high recoil. The CHA has no recoil, by the way. The only reason why it has this high is because the thing about the CHA is that it's a really slow fire rate, and also because it's a sniper, meaning like it doesn't even matter unless it's shot fast. The recoil doesn't matter unless it shoots fast. Spread's pretty bad in CBRC because it's a rifle. The CHA is bad spread, but like, once again, the CHA is the really slow fire rate gun. Spread doesn't matter on slow fire rate guns. If it's a semi-automatic, really slow firing gun, then like the spread and recoil usually will never matter, especially for a sniper when it comes to recoil. So that's the 3 reasons why I don't want CBRC in terms of recoil. Recoil control is absurdly bad in the CBRC. There's only one attachment, 2 times in the game that can alleviate recoil. The stubby grip. Now the folding grip and ergo grip, it looks like it does something. This only does like a few shots, and this is like literally a worse ergo grip. Never run this grip. I don't recommend running it for stealth, and even I don't know why you want to run the CBRC stealth. Unless you're doing like a meme. But literally, the only thing you need for stealth is this UPG-9, or K45. That's literally all you need. You don't, or S97. The only time I'd ever run the S97 is for a scientist. That's it. A scientist like Hunter Edgemond, I recommend the S97 on for stealth. Now, the only gun in the game that works well with, angled grip, if you're wondering, is by far the CBRC. The only gun in the game, stubby, is not good. Because, like, stubby grip is the best, then angled is sold second. I used to run angled on my left and square list. That barely does anything. except for micro rifles. That's the reason why I never run CBRC angle whip. That's the reason why I never run F57 angle whip anymore. 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay. Next up, M20. Now the M20 is absurdly good. It got in the top 3. That is absurdly good. See, M20 is just literally probably the best secondary in the game. Yeah, best secondary in the game by far. High fire rate, good recoil control. Way better than the S97. Now, there isn't a stock emissions. If you have the stock on, there's literally no recoil. If this gun the stock attachment, it'd easily be number 1. I don't even care if the CHA existed. This gun would be easily more than the stock. This gun has stock. Is be over here. This gun would be the greatest weapon in the game, easily. But because the gun is really good with stock, they don't have it for some reason. I wonder why. That just shows how overpowered the M20 is. It's so good with the stock, they don't even let you use it. That's how good it is. So next up, I was really close. I have to say F57. F57 is a solid second. Emissions, it's by far number 1. But the reason why F57 is not as good is F57. Sure, wallbang, great. Ammo, great. Aiming at the gun is great. Recoil doesn't matter. Get the stock. Everyone runs stock. Recoil doesn't matter. Spread, on the other hand, is absurd. Spread is ungodly. The range is relatively good. The damage is also relatively good. But like, the reason why I don't like this also has a really bad recoil with certain scopes. Like if you have the 4 times, the scopes that can actually be brilliant in recoil in actuality, but like the gun's really annoying when it comes to spread. The spread is so bad on this gun. It's not number 1. The CHI is obviously number 1. Yes, I'm pretty biased because I use this gun a lot in my videos. Also, there's no mini sight because the CBRC and CHA are both competitors. I'm joking. That's the reason why the mini sight's default in CBRC. You can't put the mini sight on the CHA. I don't know why you can't. It's really stupid, but you know, I don't get it. I rent Delta over mini on every gun. I think the only exception is shotguns? No. I know my friend runs mini more than Delta, I think. Yeah, I prefer Delta sight in every game. The mini sight's good, but like I just don't like the rectal. I prefer Delta sight. That's just my CH is number 1 also. Next up, we're going to rank attachments. Just can rank attachments. Everyone knows attachment will just be flashlight, worst. Flash hider, worst. If I were to do every category, iron sights, flash hider, and flashlight would literally be the worst. No stock and short mag would be the worst in the other categories. And then for shotguns literally only have a stock attachment, which is actually better if you want more spread. So like, there's really like no point in ranking attachments on guns because like every gun in the game doesn't really matter. Attachment you put on, you can put any attachment you want, but like here's the attachment I'd recommend for every gun in the game. Now in terms of M20, I'd recommend stubby grip, laser, suppressor or muzzle brake, that's your choice. A sight of your choice, except for iron sights or M20 are alright. If you want, you can run them. S97, you do not want to use the iron sights at all. The iron sights are pathetic. You can run red dot. I would not recommend running any of the scopes. The recoil is absurd. The recoil is so bad that there's no point. Actually, red dot isn't even worth it. The recoil is so bad. You can use run Delta or Mini. Always run muzzle brake. You can run suppressor if you can manage the recoil better than me. Tactical mod, obviously lasers. Canted if you're in the 3 times or red dot. Little mag. Never run short mag, no matter what. It's literally pointless. In terms of Raven, laser, because it's the only thing. Barrel, suppressor, it's the only thing. And then mini or delta, you can have glow if you want. In terms of UPG9, any sight you want. Sight doesn't really matter. Ring sight's pretty bad. I would not recommend ring sight. Flash hider, I would almost never recommend. Again, I think it's somewhat good on maybe the CHA. but that's really like weird to CHA. So like I don't know. Maybe begin with CHA. I'm not sure. Mental break is pretty bad. Never mind mental break on CHI. If you're gonna run attachment, I'd recommend suppressor. If you want, you can run flash hider. If you're in the UPG9 now, muzzle brake or suppressor. Recoil's a bit bad, so if you want, it's not that bad, but like muzzle brake's pretty good to alleviate with very little of the recoil. Shotgun, you can, doesn't really matter if you want spread, run short grip, or just run normal stock if you don't want spread. Obviously, laser, it's a shotgun. Flash hider doesn't work, and then attachment choke, duckbill, and flash hider don't work anymore. Duckbill basically makes your spread more vertical. Choke just makes your spread more tight, and flash hider hides your flash. So like, if any attachment actually works, I recommend choke. Duckbill is if you want. Duckbill is really good for like shields. I think. Yeah, I think it'd be alright for shield, but like that's really it. There's no shield in this game for Shadow War. Saw Blade, you literally only have 3 options for sights: Mini, Delta, and Red. I would not recommend the other sights. The other sights are, man, they're alright. The Mini, Delta, I'd recommend Red Dot because you're usually holding positions, and the Red Dot gives you 2.2x. I'd recommend Stubby Grip because it alleviates recoil and spread, I think. I don't know about recoil, but Saw Blade has no recoil. The F57, full stock. Grip, I'd recommend Stubby. No mag, don't modify that. Laser or canted. If you're running like the 3 times, if you want, you can run canted. I'd recommend running the 3 times. You can run the 4 times if you want. I'd recommend 3 times though. You can run suppressor or muzzle brake. I'd recommend suppressor. That's their F57 setup. In terms of CBRC, scope doesn't really matter. You can run any of these. 6x is probably the worst rectal, but it has it's really good modification. I do recommend these 6x on Cape May. That's really it. I want 3x or 4x. I recommend 3x on Cape May 6x. You can also run Mini or Delta for close quarters, and Red Dot's relatively good for like if you want. Suppressor, muzzle brake. If you're gonna snipe, run suppressor because it makes your gun silent, so it's a bit hard to track you. So I'd recommend that. Also, if you're on attacking shootout camera, you can't hear the gunfire, so that's really useful. You can run laser or canted. Laser's really good, but so is canted, so I don't really know that one. If you're running like the 6x or 4x, run canted. If you're in the 3x, run laser. Especially if you're sniping, I'd recommend running laser. You're going to have a good secondary if you're on this series. Angle grip is literally the only good grip. Stubby grip's alright, but like angle grip's way better for this, exclusively for this gun. Like the only good in the game except grips is literally the CBRC, because the only 3 guns in the game except grips is MM20, CBRC, and F57. That is literally it. In terms of CHA, you only have 3 attachments. Of course, I wouldn't pick laser over anything. You can run anything. I run Delta on one map, and that is Calais, because you can do that van thing. It's also, I'd recommend running Red Dot or 3x on Montreal. If you're gonna snipe, I'd recommend the 4x or 6x. I think there's more worth it on this gun, I think. I run Delta sight, but you don't have to. Mini sight or Delta, I'd recommend Delta. Oh wait, you can't run a Mesa on this gun, I just remembered. You can run flash hider. Muzzle brake's pretty bad. I usually wouldn't recommend muzzle brake. I recommend suppressor, which is invisible. There's a glitch where the gun, where the thing's invisible. Like, you can literally, it's inside the gun. You can tell. See, I'm pretty sure the developer accidentally, like, in the update, I think put the suppressor in the gun, even though it's really weird. But basically, like, the suppressor broke. It still works though. It's really weird. Laser and sight doesn't matter. Like I said. And that is going to, also, we're going to go over team rosters for each map, except for Woodford. So, Cape May, I'd recommend 1 sniper, 1 CBRC, 1 CHA sniper, 1 rifleman, one rifleman with a F57, and 1 guy with a shotgun. For secondaries, for your snipers, that's 97 or M20, their choice. For riflemen, I'd recommend a S97 or M20. And for your shotgun guy, run either of those. In terms of Swansea, I'd recommend having 1 sniper. Sniper's optional. You can have a shotgun if you want. You can have F57 man. You're giving the F57 man. And this is the main free. The fourth one can be whatever you want. You can check out, but it's optional. In terms of rifleman, just literally do what I just said for every other map. In terms of Montreal, Montreal's the most flexible map in the game, so like Montreal, you do basically whatever you want. In terms of Calais, I'd recommend having one sniper, both on attack and defense. Just have attack and defense, by the way, because it's like on attack, you're gonna have snipers that counter their snipers. So that's the main reason why I said bring. In terms of Montreal, in terms of Calais, you'd want to bring a sniper, so you can counter second floors. You can counter people sniping on the second floor trying to get you when you open the door. Or else you can just go around them by breaching the door that they're if you want. But like I wouldn't recommend that because like it's kind of obvious. If the person walks, they're gonna be obvious. They're gonna move and breach the door right near you. So, like they're gonna go down to the basement. So like it's kind of obvious. Or they're gonna go down to the basement and breach you. So it's kind of really obvious. I don't do that. In terms of does all the maps. Woodford, I don't have any from Woodford. Woodford, no one ever uses it. No one ever goes from Woodford, so like. And finally, I will go over how the chat command feature works. So chat command basically. What? That's backslash. Which key is backslash? I always forget. Yeah. Okay. No, I don't know what happened there. But basically, what you want to do is, so you want to. Also, don't ask where you're sitting. I don't know where you sit in the lobby. I wonder how I've heard. I thought I'm in the Halcyon. I'm gonna switch to Phoenix. It's better than Halcyon. Oh yeah. Let's see if I can get this thing to do. So how this works is you select team is for callouts. You can just be like on B. And then if you want you can just go with on B. That's a chat command. That's how team chat works. So blue, always remember, blue's Halcyon, red's Phoenix. Your chat wasn't obvious enough to you. It's kind of ironic because the main leader of Halcyon is a director and the main leader of Jackdaw. But there are two main faction people. Fair has blue hair and Rose is red. So like but Rose technically works for Halcyon and Phoenix at the same time. Rose is technically neutral. She wants to be neutral. Sparrow is technically has blue hair like Halcyon, which is really hilarious to me. And then basically, finally, we're gonna go over how you do chat command, like I said. So use grenade frenzy like this. If you see this pop up in red, it'll be like no bullets, infinite frag, lots of explosives, explosion. And if you say golden guns, each bullet is a kill. We only get one. Make it count. And I think that's gonna be all for this absurdly long, probably really boring video. And if you're wondering, but why did I waste all this time doing this? I don't know. I don't really playing Shadow War. I want to get another video out. I'm probably gonna just like sit and probably go on my phone or something. I don't really know. That's gonna do it for today's video. I may upload later. I don't know. I know you upload tomorrow. I can tell you that much. Well, I guess goodbye.